Hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome to Terraformental. It is a semi-idle incremental game inspired by Incremental that's currently just a demo at the moment, but it looked neat, so I wanted to give it a shot. Anyway, so we have actions, inventory, queue, auto-paused events, personal resources. Okay, so this actually seems like it might have a little bit more involved mechanics, which I like. Something tells you it should have been opened when you wake up, but a lever labeled emergency open tempts you relentlessly. So you awaken in a cryosleep pod, a deep chill seeps into your body, and your mind seems wrapped in a dense fog which obscures your memories. Okay, so we might as well start this one. It looks like we can add stuff to the queue too, so finish queued max. I'm assuming they get faster as we go along. Relatively warm but stale air rushes into the pod as the door lurches open, carrying with it a variety of unpleasant smells. You find yourself in a room with few furnishings and only one door. I'm a huge sucker for the idea of story-based incremental games that kind of handle this. Where like events play out slowly over time as you unlock new events to play around with. The facility seems to be a small terraforming station codenamed Talos, but it's in very poor condition. Most of the systems are offline or unresponsive, and the door to the ground floor is locked. There are several other cryopods like the one you were in, but seeing a few sealed bottles of water makes you suddenly realize how thirsty you are. Take small water bottle. You really should drink the water you just found. Grants a small water bottle, base, remaining, finished, queued, max 4. Okay. Let's see. So I could do just queue 10 of them. Well, we can only do 4, but that's fine. So we can, I guess let's go for the dialogue. Luckily the game pauses while I don't have anything else going on. Turns out you have a handy nano storage device which can store a limited number of each object in existence. So long as it's not too big, not that it matters just yet. You were thirsty enough to guzzle that bottle straight down. Question is, what your next priority should be? Ground floor door, life support. Okay, so what do we have? Main generator. Well, the backups are providing enough power for most systems. If you can get the main generator back online, it'll give you a lot more options. Let's see, water system. Getting the water recycling system running would provide you with near limitless water. It might be a good idea to check on the food synthesis system, see what condition it's in. Even if you weren't in a terraforming station on an as-yet unterraformed planet, it's usually a good idea to know the current state of your life support. And there may be more resources or systems you can use on the ground floor, if you can find a way through the door. Let's do food first. I'm pretty sure my character is probably going to starve. And then let's do water, life support, door, main generator. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to get through all of these, but that's okay. Despite every component showing significant signs of wear, the food synthesizer still seems to be operable. Unfortunately, it requires more power than the backups can provide, and the facility's main generator is offline. The water recycler is mostly functional, but the main pump is broken. You need to find or build a replacement before you can get any more clean water. Yeah, hunger starts. Luckily, there's a small amount of clean water in the tank, so you should be able to siphon out manually. You start to feel the creeping pangs of hunger in your belly. It's not serious yet, but you might want to look into getting some food. While the heating system is in near perfect condition, the carbon dioxide scrubbers look like they're on their last legs. You can't think of a way to repair them, and can't find any spares, so once they fail, you'll only have the air in the facility. Okay, we're running out of water, which is probably bad. Okay. It seems that the door is sealed as part of an emergency lockdown. You should be able to lift the lockdown, but only if you can get the main generator back online. Alternatively, you could always try and force the door open, but it does look quite sturdy. The immense fission reactor required to power a terraforming station like this is actually deep underground, but the diagnostic and control terminals feed you all the information you need. The logs show that several weeks ago, someone ordered the repair drones to disable the generator by removing several key components. It'll take a while, but you can easily reverse the process. Let's get some water before we run out. Manually draw some of the stored water out of the filtration system and into the bottle. And then I'll do force the ground floor door. I do wonder what happens if I like completely run out. I'm assuming I just have actual thirst issues. And I don't have much water. Oh, right, because I'm supposed to queue like 5 of these. There we go. And I think I can fill up the water bottles. So as soon as this is probably done, we can worry about it. Chances are we're still going to just suffocate. Which is weird and dark to say, but I mean, I don't know. I'm going to move myself to the other side. I don't know what events are going to be, but currently we don't have anything to worry about. UI scale, manual save, that's fine. But yeah, I might as well just focus on getting groundwater at the moment, or groundwater, water in general, because we're going to need to be able to extract all 20 of that or eventually, I don't know. And it seems like it's going to be a while before I actually get through this ground floor door. Oh, I might starve before we actually get to the point where it's we can do anything about it. Okay, let's get this as the last one, and let's start working on this door. Problem is, it's going to take, an actually insane amount of time to get this door open. Which is why I think I'm supposed to repair the main generator. Ah. It'd be interesting to get to the point where I can work on forcing the ground floor door. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Yeah, if you ever run out of food, you will immediately die. It's just like me. Okay, we have enough water. Yeah, same thing with water here. We're a very soft person, though. Just a couple minutes of no food and you're toast. Okay, so we can synthesize food freely. We'll get a couple. I don't know how much food this actually feeds me. Grants 1 basic food. Okay. Now the power's restored, let's lift lockdown. We're going to have to actually extract water and food sooner than later. Because these are a bit of an issue. I would like to get out of here sooner than later since going to run into some problems. Okay, let's stop that for a second. Good. It actually saves our progress on that one. Unfortunately, these are just going to take quite a while before we can actually get fast at these. But eventually we'll be able to just zoom through them in seconds. It's nice to see that Incremental has actually had, or left an influence on incremental games. I really liked it back when I played it. I never actually finished it, but I also recognize that the developer, I think, got bogged down with, it was either life or COVID or both, and so they haven't had as much time to work on it. Okay, let's work on lifting that lockdown, because we're going to run out of air pretty soon, and that's going to be an issue. And we have at least enough food banked that we don't need to worry about it immediately. But yeah, so like, I liked the idea of Incremental. I did feel like it was maybe a little restrictive, and so the idea of having this be, let's see, if I do control, control is just 5. Oops. Oh, that adds, I got it. So the first one adds it as priority, the second one adds it as queue. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was an interesting way of handling things. It just felt a little linear. You know, you only had like a couple of options per tier. And it'd be interesting to kind of almost a choose your own adventure game with like a lot of width, but you still have the constant ticking time. So you have to be managing everything and also running around. Okay. The ground floor is separated into 2 main areas. The personnel section is mostly quarters, common areas, and offices for staff, all currently empty. Though there is a locked administrator's office, which may have some useful data. The rest of the space is dedicated to maintenance, including a workshop and a vehicle bay. Might be worth a look. Yeah, forcing the admin door actually is not too bad. Hacking is harder. Let's see, on the plus side, once you cracked it, you can use it on any terminal locked with it. I see. So that's kind of the trick. We could get a water pouch. Probably better than the small water bottle. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Let's explore the vehicle bay. For now. I would like to hack the admin office door, but we are very low on oxygen at this point, and that's going to be a problem. And I'm pretty sure we get access to more oxygen in there. Unless the vehicle bay is lucky. So the workshop's pretty basic, and most of its content seem to be there awaiting repair. However, there's an entire cargo pallet of water pouches, a large pile of metal sheets, and which you might be able to find a use for, as well as one functional power coupler. You can only assume someone had just finished repairing it when the evacuation sounded. Judging by the markings on the numerous parking spaces in the vehicle bay, there used to be dozens of rovers here, as well as several VTOL, vertical takeoff/landing aircraft. Fortunately, or perhaps by someone's design, there's one rover left tucked in the far corner of the bay. Well, we don't have much time. Inspecting the rover is going to take a little while. Let's do both of those. We have enough resources that I'm not in dire need. So we're going to force the admin door for now. We'll work on hacking it later. Because one of these hopefully has filters for me. Otherwise, we're toast. I mean, that's fine. This is a incremental game that involves some level of time looping. So it's one of those where even if we fall, we still can restart and get extra stuff. One thing I'm going to say that I really like is that there's no current scaling drain. One thing that Incremental did was your character was like losing resources faster and faster over time. And that's fine. But a little slow. Okay, so let's take the emergency suit. You find it relatively easy to force the door to the administrator's office. The computer isn't locked, but most of the data seems to have been corrupted. Other than the last active file, only a few schematics are accessible. Inside the desk, you find a stash of protein bars. A quick walk through the rover, checking the lockers and other storage reveals very little. The one thing you do find that is going to be helpful, though, is an emergency survival suit. It won't protect you from much, but it'll offer a sealed environment for you to breathe in, as long as you have some air tanks, as well as a small reservoir you can easily drink from. It even looks like the reservoir is full of water. Okay, let's just fill some air tanks. You probably shouldn't be surprised that half the rover systems are non-functional. The air recycler is working, so you should be able to refill your O2 tanks here. But if you want to go anywhere, you need to cannibalize 4 power couplers from the facility systems. Find enough scrap metal to patch the holes in the hull. The food synthesizer is missing several key components, and the water recycler is just missing. But hopefully you'll be able to gather enough supplies to make a decently lengthy journey. Okay, so is my air tank full? No. Let's see. Okay, we should probably work on the life support first. And make sure we have enough oxygen. Sad part is, yeah, use the rover's air recycler to fill the tank with clean, breathable air. Unfortunately, do not exactly have a whole lot of spare air at the moment here. Oh, it actually fills back up again. That's actually huge. Okay. Hopefully we actually use some of that oxygen. I assume we will. Okay, so what do we want to do? Take the metal sheets, check the other cryopods. Let's play the admin log, then the cryopods. And then grab all the couplers. Oop. We'll wait on synthesizing food, since we're actually out. Okay, the log shows Colonel Taggart The administrator of Talos Station giving a report on the current status of the systems and declaring that the artifact has somehow destabilized them. In particular, life support. He ordered an evacuation and left coordinates of the facility they were going to try and reach. If you can repair the rover you found, you should be able to follow them. You take the time to carefully check each of the cryopods, not wanting anyone else to be abandoned the way that you were. Your heart skips a beat when two of them are actually occupied, but quickly sinks when you notice the lack of life signs. They were dead before they were frozen. They must have wanted to preserve the bodies, but couldn't bring them when they left. One of them is very old, while the other is fairly young. There are no obvious wounds or injuries on either of them. Okay, how we doing? Okay, we're on auto-paused. Let's see. I'm just gonna restock on a number of these. Okay, are we just gonna die because of... Oh, that's area resources. I see. Now we're on air. Got it. I don't think I need to worry too much. Okay, so what else do we have here? I mean, things are going reasonably well. We're going to have to get a lot of metal sheets. We've got an okay amount of water. We've got an okay amount of food. And yeah, our air tank runs out kind of fast, but it's not heinous. Be interesting if there are actually more options to repair the facility properly later on that you have to like unlock. It could be interesting if future loops actually had more options in this zone. I guess it's kind of like hacking the kind of like hacking the door so you can just do it automatically in the future. I don't exactly know how much we need to do there. We should probably also get some more air tank. Can I like change the queue? Nah. It'd be really nice if we could actually press like up and down arrows to, well, move things up and down. Because then I could kind of reprioritize in different ways. So how are we doing on metal sheet speed? Reasonably fast. But you actually scale your speed extremely quickly. But you only get the speed scaling once you've actually completed a task, not put progress into it. Because I know Incremental had kind of like a really dense stat system with a bunch of different stats that you're gaining both like run experience and then legacy experience for. Okay. Let's just... I guess we don't need any more protein bars. We haven't started eating them yet. I guess it makes sense too, because why would we eat a protein bar if those are a limited resource? Wait until we're out of here. Okay. We can take the water recycler coupler here. Oh, I see. That's a one-off. I mean, I guess I might as well work on... Oh, not the metal sheets. There we go. So that should give me enough resources that we can work on everything else. Finish synthesizing our food. And yeah, let's get that rover hull completely done. We'll have to get the food synthesizer, but we want that to be like absolute last, just so I don't have to worry about resources. Like we'd actually have enough with the protein bars, but still. I wonder how hard it would be to make one of these games. I almost wonder if I were to ever make one, I'd probably make it turn-based instead. You're relieved to see the pressure gauge finally spinning upwards as you seal the final hole in the hull. The pressure regulator is busted. You can't rely on it constantly replenishing your oxygen without you micromanaging it. At least you'll be free to take your helmet off for short periods to eat and drink. You do still need to repair the power systems if you intend to go anywhere, though. Okay, how are we doing resource-wise? Definitely get a couple of those. Okay, good. So it is slowly depleting the power couplers. Let's see. Grab another air tank. Because yeah, we are starting to dip. It's okay, we're about to run out of power couplers, so we won't be able to repair the system. Unless we had enough? Maybe we had enough. Okay. Guess we didn't need the food synthesizer coupler. I'll grab it at the end. The rover hums to life as you connect the final power coupler. With the hull repaired too, plus coordinates from the computer, you're pretty much ready to go. Though you should make sure to stockpile some of those protein bars and some water bottles. The more different types of food and water containers you have, the more your nano storage device can carry total, and the longer you can survive. Okay, it's basic food, air, water. Yeah, I'm just going to use this opportunity to max everything out before we go. Because it'll be pretty easy for me to max out both of these. And that's slowly getting faster. Unfortunately, filling the air tank is not a quick process. Okay, so what are we looking at? I guess I might as well grab a water pouch. Synthesize some food. And then let's take the food synthesizer coupler. That's going to start costing us protein bars, but chances are we're going to get out of here before that's a problem. I'll have to take another water pouch or two. Okay, fill the air tank. I think that comes with me, but still. Leave in rover, travel this causes you to travel. With the rover hull and power systems repaired, you should be able to make it to new coordinates you found. Drains of power per second. Well, I don't have anything else to really grab here, so let's go. Oh. Yeah. Let's see. Nothing in the air tank. Nothing in water. Sure. Hopefully, let's see. I mean, hopefully everything will carry over. Oxygen is really the only immediate concern. And even then, I don't know, maybe the next place is going to have plenty of air, so we don't need to worry about it. Okay, so we can fill the air tank and then follow the coordinates. After triple checking the rover's systems and your stockpile of food and water, you finally leave Talos Station behind. With the onboard GPS guiding you, it's relatively simple to aim for the coordinates. From the administrator's final log, you sit back and stare at the slowly passing lifeless landscape, idly wondering what you might find when you reach your target. I almost wonder if our character, like the person we're playing as, is actually also one of the dead people that was somehow revived by the artifact or something. Wouldn't be the first time I've seen that, but I do think it's kind of a cool, I don't want to say like a cool narrative element where you have kind of the unreliable narrator where the main character doesn't even realize that they're the other. I'm thinking of Prey 2016, 2017. That game, not to spoil too much, very much is like, makes you think you're one person and you're not. And I think that's cool. I guess that is kind of a huge spoiler, but it's been out for like 8 years. I think it's okay. The first leg of your journey takes you past the smaller buildings and equipment which support the facility you are in. Small solar farms to supply backup power, drills to release pockets of gas, to build up an atmosphere and trap heat, heaters to melt glaciers, providing water and raising the temperature of the planet even faster. You seem to understand them all. Yet, you know that something about them is wrong. Okay, how are we doing on air tanks? Resources are starting to look a little but it's okay. There's a lot of distance between you and the coordinates, but the nav computer says it's a pretty straight route. Yeah, I'm curious if we're going to have a benefit for having the extra power coupler than sheet metal. Hopefully. I wonder if this is something I actually get faster at. Presumably. Be interesting if I can really get that speed down with future loops. Though, it's unlikely. And unfortunately, the one problem with things like this is like, yeah, I'm watching my meters tick down, but there's literally nothing I can do about it at the moment. I'm mostly just kind of watching time pass. I think it's fine. I think it's just one of those where, like, this is why I was thinking of if I were to ever make one of these, I'd probably make it turn-based, so it doesn't have that issue as much. It's been a while since you saw one of the support buildings, and you've had nothing to look at but the landscape, which is good. As otherwise you may have missed seeing a flash of the reflected sun on the horizon. It's a little off your current heading, but with nothing else out here, you think it's worth investigating. Let's grab a little bit more oxygen. Largely because this trains my oxygen, like my ability to stack oxygen. My problem is I'm actually running out of water, and that's not great. I'm assuming we're going to find some water at the next location. But it definitely does depend. As you draw closer to where you saw the reflection, you're eventually able to make out the shape of another rover. It's in far worse shape than yours was, even before you fixed it up. In fact, it almost looks like it's been sitting derelict for years. It's been half buried by the weather and terrain. The Talos station emblazoned on the hull is barely even visible. Back to the rover. Better do it quick, we're running out of water. It'd be interesting to do one of these where you're almost more destined to die, like your chances of success are extremely low. But you have like I want to say a meta progression system, but you actually get to choose what you spec into. I don't think I'm going to make this, we will see. According to the markings, it's definitely from the same facility as you. There are no bodies inside, so the driver and any passengers were likely rescued long ago. Also seems they took a lot of components and tools you could have used. However, in the rear compartment you find a sealed containment crate, usually used to transport fragile or dangerous materials and equipment. Wonder what might be inside, and if it might be useful. Yeah, I don't think we're making it out of this one. You release the seals and pull back the lid of the crate. A light hiss telling you that it has indeed remained airtight for all this time. Inside rests a strange metallic object, unlike anything you know. Its surface appears to be made of countless tiny cubes, slowly moving and shifting in an unending rhythmic motion that's almost hypnotic. You wonder what it feels like to touch the artifact. You feel like you should be very concerned about what touching such an item might do, yet you're not. And we die. Oh. You survived for 20 minutes but ran out of water. Should keep a closer eye on that next time. Died before getting any answers. Who are you? Why was the terraforming station abandoned? Or were you left behind? You could always try again. This is not a progression roguelike mechanic. You need to get further through the game in your first life to unlock that. So let's load less checkpoints. So here's the question. 11 completions. Okay, so stuff carries over. So let's take a look. We need air and everything. But things will get faster. Let's see. We don't have any more protein bars. Yeah. So really, hopefully we can just kind of speed run some of this. No, it says finished 0. Interesting. So I don't know how to improve that. Because yeah, it seems to have reset my stuff. We need to touch that cube before we get the ability. to reset. That's why you're kind of set up to lose everything right before you get there. I know you have the kind of nano storage device, but I really wish you could throw protein bars and water pouches in the rover. Okay. Is there anything else I can do? I guess let's take the food coupler. The one question with this is, am I slowly running out of air? I don't actually know. Stop right before it's done. Synthesize some food. Get a water pouch. Can't get any more. Okay, that's about it. Okay, can't fill the air tank, but we can get that on the way. So once again, I think we're just leaving the rover. I maxed this out as best as I possibly could. Oh. I guess I don't have to leave yet, though. Maybe that's the problem, that I didn't stop to grab water right before. Okay, let's make sure we have everything. Now we're good. Okay, that should give me a little bit more. Now we don't need to fill the air tank immediately. We do, but not at the moment. Yeah, hopefully having that extra water pouch gives us what we need. Let's see. We still technically have one air tank. I see, it depletes as soon as we go below the 2.5 mark. That makes sense. Let's see. Okay, because we burn through water a little faster than I'd like. I guess this is because it's harder to sustain ourselves. Okay, so let's do exactly one of those. Because I want to make sure I'm topped off, but since water is going to be this huge limiting factor, we need to get to this artifact ASAP. Once we get there, then I think it doesn't really matter. Because I think all I have to do is touch the thing, and then I can comfortably loop and carry my progress over. Or not. Who knows, maybe this is actually a little bit more merciless than I thought. I do appreciate that there is this level of a, no, you actually have to try to optimize this early on. Okay, we want to head for the reflection. Okay, we want to just grab oxygen sparingly since we are out of water pouches at this point. And that heavily limits what I can do. Let's see. We've done all of this. Yeah, it's mostly just waiting for these. I'll probably need to fill the air tank, but I think this is slightly better. Because I think last time I wasted a bunch of time grabbing stuff from the air tank, and that wasn't great. Okay, at this point, we don't fill the air tank at all. Like, we need to touch that cube ASAP. Otherwise, we are going to run out of time, and it is going to be dire. Okay. Open the containment crate. It's ticking down, but I think I have more time than last time. Touch the artifact. 5 seconds. Okay, good. That's plenty. As you touch the artifact, all of its movement ceases for a moment, then it suddenly begins collapsing in on itself. The cubes seem to be pulling inwards, folding together in impossible ways. Without warning, they start instead moving up your hand, pulling you down towards it, and even sinking into your skin. Moments later, all trace of it is gone, absorbed into your body. You're unsure what to do, but since there seems to be nothing else for you here, you reluctantly return to your rover and resume your previous course. Okay, so at this point, we're toast. There's no way I can do that, so we're just going to fill the oxygen tank as much as I can before we continue on. I was hoping there would have been some water in there just to sustain the journey a little bit more, but alas. Yeah, the fact that I died literally right before getting the roguelike mechanic is a little goofy, but whatever. You know you're dying, there's no way you could have made it to the coordinates. You just weren't fast enough, you didn't have enough supplies. Maybe if you'd taken a slightly different route to get there faster or found some way to repair more of its systems, but none of that matters now. You close your eyes for a final time, and wake up. You awaken in a cryosleep pod. Wait, weren't you dead? The chill seeping through your body and fog wrapped around your mind obscures many of the details, but you definitely remember fragments of what happened. Okay, so we can open the cryopod. We can explore the facility. Let's see. Relatively warm but stale air rushes into the pod as the door lurches open, carrying with it a variety of unpleasant smells. Somehow, knowing that the life support system is wearing out and this will be the freshest air you taste for a while is far from comforting. If there's any doubt in your mind that you're somehow back in the same place, it was dispelled by your brief tour of the facility. Everything's exactly as it was when you woke the first time, including your immense thirst. When you spot bottles of water on the table, you should probably remember to come straight here for a drink if you wake up again. Okay, so things are faster actually looking at this. So we can force the ground door, but we tried, oh, interesting. Speed for the first 31 seconds of progress in a previous loop. I still don't think it's worth it though. Okay, we've got water bottles, so we don't need to do too much. I think what I might work on is hacking before we worry about anything else. To quickly down the bottle of water, you consider your next move. I have to assume you've somehow been sent back in time, mostly due to that artifact. Although prior knowledge you now possess, you've already been completing your tasks slightly faster. Do you realize you can go straight to the biggest problems and fix them before they get worse? Only problem is, which is the biggest problem right now? Let's see. So, deep thrumming. Okay, so we already know that. Yeah, I could take the non-essential couplers. We can synthesize food. I don't think we need to worry about that. I'm curious about forcing the door. And if that's at all practical. Probably not. So here I might actually want to try hacking the admin. But let's grab the emergency suit, because that'll make this easier. Okay, because now I can fill my air tank without having to worry. Let's see, so let's synthesize some food, extract some water, fill air tank, and then work on hacking this admin door. Because if I can have it hacked, we don't have to force it ever again. And use it on any terminal locked with it. That just seems practical. It'd be interesting if we got the ability to even fix the carbon filters eventually. But probably not going to happen. Let's see. Yeah, this is kind of slow, but it's not too heinous. Let's see. Yeah, we have plenty of area resources. Well, we have plenty of air, is the answer. In that case, I could actually skip out on filling the air tanks, but no, we want to max that out. Well, it's got a cool, so it can actually get that cooldown. Because I want to stay kind of above the curve. Because this way it will slowly cool down and have 5 more by the time this runs out. It gives me just a little bit more oxygen to work with. Okay. Oxygen, water, extract. Because we don't need any more water pouches at the moment. I'm just going to extract all the water just to get really fast at it. And yeah, we'll work on hacking that admin office door. Unfortunately, it's going to take a while to get that done. Like, a long time. And that's probably something I need to care about. I'll have to cycle this one. It'd be kind of nice if I could, like, set certain limitations of, like, okay, stop this at X amount of, like, resource drain, then go grab food, or prioritize... Wait, maybe I can do that. Consumption priority. Is there a way I can actually... Oh, stop right before completion. Okay, that's actually useful. It would be neat if I could set some of these to go automatically. No, it's okay. And, I mean, this is going pretty well. Kind of slow, but it's going well. Alright, hacked the door. You finally managed to crack the password to the admin's office, taking extra care to memorize it so you can just type it in next time. You already know what's on the computer, but the stash of protein bars on the desk could come in handy. Alright, so let's grab protein bars. Extract the last of the water. We don't need to fill my air tank. But we do need to synthesize food. And take the non-essential couplers. And the metal sheets. There we go. This should go nice and quickly. I wonder if we don't... We're probably not going to stop at the Crash Rover this time around. We're probably just going to continue on. And get to whatever the other facility is faster. I wonder if... Let's see. What was I going to say? I wonder if even the travel goes faster. I mean, presumably you know the way and you can kind of kick it a little bit more. You don't have to worry about obstacles or even get distracted by things in the background. Okay, right. I was gonna max out getting protein bars and food. Alright, and these should go faster? Yeah, so even repairing the hull and power systems go faster. And since they're bigger and take longer... Ooh. Have I not grabbed water pouch? Yeah, I haven't grabbed a single water pouch yet. Oops. Oh, it's okay. Problem solved. I was like, wait a second, why am I running out of water? That's not good. At least I can put something at the top of the priority system without messing up my queue too much. Again, though, like, little arrows that let me go up and down would actually go really, really far as like, just ease of use. I don't know. Okay. How else are we doing? Doing decent. And the only thing I need to make sure of, is we want to make sure that we leave with, like, the full set of everything again. Yeah, at least stuff like repairing the rover hull should go, I mean, considerably quicker. Even taking those metal sheets has a 50% boost. Okay. Let's see. Oh, run out of water pouches. We might as well stack those. How fast is this going? So it seems to go up by 0.01 every time I complete one of those. Kind of. It must have diminishing returns, because, yeah, it's 57 to 37 completions, so I don't entirely know the math on this. Nor do I need to. It's not that it's, like, super bothersome. If, like, it doesn't line up properly. It's not like I need to know. It would be kind of cool if you could turn on, like, a really verbose math system. Or, like, labeling system so you can tell, like, oh, yeah, this is This is 20% for completing it the first time plus 0.0, I guess 1% for every further completion or small stuff like that. Let's see. And we are actually starting to burn air. Not much though. We actually, I think next time we do this, we might even be able to complete the whole facility without even running out of fresh air, which is nice. And now it looks like leaving the rover is faster. But for now, I think I just want to max everything out. Yeah, I don't quite want to take the food synthesizer coupler, at least not to the point where it's fully completed. We want to max everything else out. Now that I know I can right click to stop right before completion, means I can just leave it there almost complete and grab everything else. And then we can go back and grab everything. Oh, that's super nice, actually. Because that way I can potentially even leave stuff like fill air tank as a near complete thing, so I can snag one real quick rather than rush it. Okay. Grab those water pouches. Now it still seems to be roughly 20% plus 1% for every future completion. Alright, so we maxed out? No. Okay. Well, we're about as maxed out as we're going to be able to get. So let's take that and then leave. And follow the coordinates. I know, even that's faster. Perfect. Okay. I kind of wish there was an indicator for, like, what is new dialogue for the loop and not. Like, if dialogue that is from the previous loop, something I've read before, if it was just slightly grayer, or if there was even, like, a little, like, icon here for, like, new thought versus old thought. Even maybe to the point where you can tell which loop the thought was from. So certain things that you've seen before you can just kind of mentally pass over or even filter out entirely. Passing all the smaller support buildings and equipment gives you a chance to examine them all. You're increasingly certain that something just isn't right about them, but you can't figure out what it is. Maybe it would be worth taking a closer look at them if you ever get the chance. For now, you have a more important target. Follow the coordinates. And then once again, that extra 30% speed for completing this the first time really does speed things along dramatically. Let's see. While we're here, there's a little thrall on my wrist brace. Don't know why it's hurting today, but it is. You're lucky if you're at an age where you don't have to worry about things like your wrist randomly just hurting a bunch and not being able to hold a mouse right. I know, definitely need to work on my, let's see. Well, definitely need to work on my ergonomics a bit better. So here's the question. What do we want to do? Let's head for the derelict rover. If you're right and the artifact rover is responsible for your looping through time, maybe you should go check it out again. And we seem to have more resources, so maybe it's not super bad. I can maybe set this up. Yeah, Shell's handing me a vertical mouse. And I'll definitely have to give it a shot. I just haven't actually gotten used to using the vertical mouse yet. I don't know if it would be actually more comfortable. You reach the derelict rover, and it looks just as you remember. Ignoring the rest of the wreck, you head for the containment crate. You feel a slight rush of excitement as you approach the crate you know contains the artifact. You're surprised how your heart flutters as you release the seals and pull back the lid of the crate, suddenly thrilled at the thought of getting to see the mesmerizing artifact once again. Moments later, you feel crushing disappointment upon seeing the crate is in fact empty. Whatever the artifact was is the only thing you found so far which is different from the first time? Unless you find something more, you suppose there's not much reason to come back here in future loops. Oh, good to get that out of the way, at the very least, even if it might cost me. I mean, yeah, we're running out of resources pretty fast here. I do kind of wish there were speed controls. Like, I understand kind of why there aren't. But especially, I mean, maybe it's one of those that especially after, like, X number of loops, you get the ability to even just speed up time. At least things that you've seen before. Well, I mean, I guess that's the point of it, that everything gets faster anyway. So why would your perception of time get faster? I don't know. I think so much of it is because, once again, I'm recording this as a video. And, like, that really does recontextualize. It does kind of change how you engage with these games. Normally, I just let it run on the side. But since I'm trying to do commentary, the, like, minute or 2 minute long waits are actually kind of rough. But again, I'm not recording this game is not the intended play experience. So I can't really complain too much. You're surprised how your heart fluttered. Oh, no, we've already seen that. So follow the coordinates. Yeah. Ooh, base is 2 minutes. I don't think we're getting that. Yeah, most assuredly did not. Got about halfway and then ran out, but it's okay. The next run's going to be wicked fast in comparison. I'm just filling my air tank as much as I can. Ran out of water after 50 minutes, which got you to the derelict rover, but not to the coordinates. Let's see. Okay, so once again, open the cryopod. Seems like it goes... This one goes a little faster. Okay. Still curious about forcing the ground door. The ground floor door. But I don't see the point of that. As you quickly down the bottle of water, you consider your next move. There's no doubt at this point you're stuck in a time loop. But even if you assume it's due to the artifact you touched, that leaves a lot of unanswered questions. On the upside, it seems that you'll be able to find all the answers sooner or later, as long as you don't give up. Okay. Yeah, is any of this new? Hard to say. Let's see. Lift lockdown. Non-essential couplers. I mean, we can kind of just do all of these things. We're getting progressively faster with every completion. And extracting water is pretty quick. Synthesizing food is way faster. Let's see. Yeah, for whatever reason, playing a game like this makes me weirdly crave the idea of having, like, extra stat points that I can allot. I don't know why. I think it's mostly just one of those where it's, like, just a little bit of an extra thing. But I could also see that being extremely strong or overpowered at the very least. Let's see. Alright. I'm gonna put the water pouches on top, just because we're gonna run out of water. Actually, no we're not, because we've got plenty of water to fill first. As the air has started to smell increasingly foul, the carbon filters have failed. Yeah, I do wonder if we get the ability to fix those, but later. I also wonder if we get to explore outside the facility again. Or this time, now that we're no longer heading for the rover. Maybe. Probably. Okay. Might as well fill our oxygen tanks. Once again, we want to have that filled up and have it fully cooled down by the time the air starts to fail. Because that gives us just a little bit of I mean, I guess a little bit of leeway. Wiggle room boost. Okay. Oh, interesting. We're not actually drinking from the small water bottle. Oh, so if I don't let that run out and I just stick to the water pouches, that's actually a really nice system. That the game recognizes that, hey, these water pouches are infinite versus not. So that actually might give me that extra water that I need. Well, that's kind of huge. Because up until now, we've had severe water issues, and it's because, yeah, I didn't leave that till later. Okay, that should be enough to get the rover hull completed. Let's see, air is looking fine. We should probably synthesize food and grab our water pouches. Okay. Yeah, is really there anything else? I was kind of hoping there would be some more bonus options across a couple of loops, just in case there's other fun things. It's not really that big of a deal, though. I guess part of it is, like, very much this is supposed to be a somewhat linear experience, and the more width you add, the more, like, it becomes tricky to manage. And also, I guess we had a decent amount of width earlier, and we've narrowed it down dramatically just through our actions. Okay. Is there anything else really to care about? Not overwhelmingly. Music is weirdly ominous, but I kind of picked it on purpose. Just went on Epidemic Sound and was just like, hey, give me a bunch of dark ambient music. And it's sufficiently dark. Okay, so let's synthesize food, take water pouches, take protein bars, and then prep those two. Because we want these to be ready to go, but we don't want to leave quite yet. Once again, we mostly want to top ourselves off completely before we go anywhere. Yeah, look at that. We haven't even run out of oxygen. You barely bothered to check the pressure gauge as you seal the final hole in the hull. It is interesting how simpler the dialogue does get over multiple loops. I think maybe that's it, that they actually stop, they really do change it so it's kind of like the very perfunctory, like, oh yeah, that happened. Because your character no longer cares as much. It's like, oh yeah, the oxygen's running out. Oh well, I'm used to this. I do appreciate that. Okay, so once again, we want to grab synthesize food, take water pouch. Okay. Take another water pouch. Are we good to go? Yeah, looks like it. And yeah, that is going faster. Yeah, so the main question is, are we actually going to be able to investigate the support buildings this time around? Or are we still locked to getting to that other facility? I think we probably are, and that's okay. It just keeps mentioning that they look weird and wrong, and I need to know. But that's something I will probably have to work on, mess around with the actual, like, release of this game. Let's see. Is there really much to do? No, but at least we can get to the other facility and get to the other side of whatever this desert expanse is. I was expecting I'd be doing more terraforming here, but this is almost giving me Dead Space, but without the monsters. Actually strikes me, you could probably do a combat system in this game. It'd certainly be interesting. So bypass the derelict rover. Yeah, we don't even have dialogue in regards to the support structures this time around, so Either it's been forgotten or it's something that will pop back up again at a later date. And is that faster? No. But at least following the coordinates here did get a bit of a speed boost from putting time into it previously. And we've got plenty of resources. Like, we still have a couple of water bottles. We still have protein bars, basic food, and small water. Ooh, yeah, that's actually really nice. I might have to stop to get some oxygen, though. But we can do that later. Oh, it'll be nice once this is faster. Because, yeah, the one problem is the 2-minute wait time is... Oh, you can also... There's just a button for loop now. That's nice. I'm not going to do it, because it'd be kind of a waste of time. But I appreciate that I have that option just sitting right there. Let's see. But yeah, the waiting works great if you're not playing this game. Well, the waiting is not great if you're playing this game actively. It's not a problem if you're playing it passively. Just leave it on another monitor and you'll just make progress and walk away, come back. Oh, hey, cool, we've made it further. Oops, it's time to loop, stuff like that. But the pressure of commentary is making me just like a little antsy. It's just like, well, what do I do? I converse, I talk about things. To go back to the topic of like Incremental kind of carrying through, there's also like OMSI loops, which I really, really enjoyed, and a couple other games. Oh gosh, has that just been running on my other monitor for years? No, it's currently paused. Okay. I should go back to that game at some point. But time loop incremental games are kind of fun, just in terms of the like making the most efficient pathway you can through whatever environment, whatever actions, whatever options you have available. Let's fill the air tank. I probably should have been working on that earlier, considering it's been stacked up and I was kind of wasting its cooldown, but whatever. At the crest of a steady hill, you're able to look down into the falling valley, and the target of the coordinates you've been trying to reach. Another terraforming facility. Despite being the same type as the one you left, this one looks very different, having been heavily and haphazardly modified. You can barely even make out the name Lorien Station on the outer wall. I have to get closer to learn more. Okay, so one immediate problem is I'm down to my last 2 bits of basic food, and we have no water. So... hopefully we can get in this facility and find something to quaff pretty quick, otherwise we're going to have some problems. At least, once again, things get considerably faster over time. And so, even if I don't make it in here this loop, I can make it in here the next loop. I think this is where kind of the stat points come from, and maybe the desire for something like that, a little bit more direct control over my build, and like... certain things, purely from the perspective of just gaining, let's see, 1 second, driving carefully to avoid numerous hastily built structures around the base of the station. You're able to get a closer look at them. They seem to be exceedingly basic habitats, many of them showing signs of depressurization, despite only being a few weeks old. None seem to be occupied. Open the vehicle bay. Should be able to open Lorien Station vehicle bay easily enough with your rover's computer. Please have a pallet of water on the inside. All the vehicles are able to connect with any nearby facility, allowing them to remotely control and run a diagnostics on some systems, including the vehicle bay doors, yet for some reason you can't connect to this facility at all. Only reasons you can think of are the short-range comms are down, or that all power is down, including the backups. Either way, you're going to have to leave the rover here for now, and use the personnel airlock. Better hurry, we're running out of juice. Okay. Explore nearby... oh, some of these are persistent. So once we've completed them, we don't have to see more. Okay, we don't have more. We can return to the rover. We can go to the personnel airlock, inspect the drill, distance support facilities. Let's do nearby. We don't have a whole lot of speed, but if I can clear any of these out and get access to water, that'll be nice. And yeah, we have just enough time, so if one of these has a pallet of water, we're good to go. Or something. Oh, blessed. Not gonna give me much, though. Oh, why did that go to the top? Whatever, it's fine. Okay, it's not great. Ooh, that's gonna take a minute. Well... I think I'm gonna check it out all the same. This might be a waste of time, but still, the further out support facilities were also modified, but to a lesser extent. Looks like they might have been used for storage and work rather than living in, so there may be useful tools or information in them. They're spread out over a pretty large area to try and cover on foot. That was a creepy noise. Pretty sure that's part of the music, though. Music. Ambiance. Oh. All the buildings close to Lorien Station seem to have temporary living quarters built onto their existing structure. They're probably barely airtight when they're built, with flex pipes carrying air from the main facility. Even after a short time they seem to have been standing, they're already starting to degrade and most are no longer livable. You find several areas that look like they used to store supplies, but they've since been mostly emptied. A few mist scraps are all you find, and the remainder probably have been moved inside the base. While you're looking around, it occurs to you that a lot of these support facilities seem off in the same way the ones around Talos did. Maybe you should take a closer look at one of them when you have some free time. Most of the alterations to the buildings surrounding Lorien seem to have been intended to help support far more people than should have been living there. Makeshift hydroponic bays on the heaters housed fast-growing edible plants. Drills were redirected towards pockets of gas that could be processed into additional breathable air, and several large tanks presumably held water ferried in from other locations. Most of it's no longer functional and empty of supplies, but you notice a few locations that may be worth a closer look. I'm going to try the personnel airlock. And nope. Well, that's fine. Alright. Hunger starts, carbon filter. Yeah. So we're back to the very beginning, and also at a pretty good stopping point, at least for now. So I like this game. I think it's neat. I think it's got a ways to go before it's like truly big. And I do feel like the UI could maybe use just a little bit of a pass. It's super rudimentary. I don't remember Incremental super duper well, unfortunately, in terms of how it looked. But there was something about it that had like a really nice visual flair. I think it's because, oh yeah, here we go. I'm just gonna pull this into this monitor. So Incremental, the main difference is that it had these really nice kind of light gray boxes, kind of floating in a dark gray void with some things at the top. Not to like get too lost in the weeds for the comparison of what's going on, but this is just a little bit more blocky and big. The extra borders feel kind of unnecessary. And it overall just kind of has like a stronger UI flair. Obviously both are user interface, but something about this just feels that much more, you know, web interface than Incremental did. I don't think it's a huge issue. I think it's just something that might be worth looking at some point. You know, I guess the developers listening to this one, is it Shadow Sand? It might be worth like just consulting with a graphic designer at some point to just give it a quick facelift. Especially like after the game comes out, and hopefully people have taken notice. I'll probably come back to this game when it actually launches. It's, you know, says an early access launch sooner than later. I think it actually said. Yeah, major content updates every 2 months. Currently in early access with prologue and 2 chapters of story available. I don't know when this is going to come out like properly on Steam, so I'll keep an eye on that one. But I'll definitely be back when it launches there, and we'll see if there's any major differences and see if we can get a little further. But for now, at least, if you want to play this game, I've left a link in the description below. It's totally free at the moment, though you're going to run out of content eventually. Well, that's okay. That's expected. And that's just how these games work, especially when you're playing them this early. But I guess with all that said, if you like this video in any way, shape, or form, leave me a like. It helps more than you know. And if you want to see more rad new games every single day, then hit subscribe, because I got tons to check out and show off. But for now, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.